Main reason I think that it was important for you folks to see what we do as a company is to have confidence in our abilities to build the projects that Commander Davis and Captain Ron Carter have bestowed on us to do. Not only in a professional way, but in a diplomatic way, and allows us to give back to people that have takes care of us, you know, in the armed services. You know, I met Kevin and Ron in April of this year. Lost my father, who was a Marine veteran, in March. And it meant a lot to me to work with these guys on this initiative, because it's something that not only do I not quite have the skill set that Ron has in basketball, and I was not brought up in the military like Commander Davis was, but being that my dad was a drill instructor for the Marine Corps, I was raised like a private my whole life. So I have some understanding of the discipline that they go through. Not only are we proud of what we do as a construction company, but we also employ veterans. Greg Burton, he's our Director of Operations. He is a Marine veteran from 1981 to 1987. Proudly served our country for 6 years, and also works very closely with the Iowa, Indiana, and Illinois Chicago Housing Authority, as well as the HUD chapters in Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. So he brings a huge amount of experience in the exact arena that we're looking to pursue with Commander Davis and with Ron Carter. So a little bit on my background. I was a graduate of Purdue. I played baseball for Purdue University. I graduated in '93 with a degree in architectural engineering and building construction management. After that, I lived in Valparaiso, Indiana. I was born in Gary. We moved to Valparaiso, Indiana in 1980, and went to college in '89. I've been in construction my whole life. My grandfather was a carpenter from Sweden, worked at U.S. Steel for 40 years. My dad was an electrical engineer after he served in the service at U.S. Steel. So we're, you know, Northwest Indiana, born and bred, and blue-collar, bootstrap type of mentality. So to get our hands dirty and to build and develop something that you can drive by and see that it makes an impact on someone else's life means a lot to me as well. So that's kind of what we do, why we do what we do. And like I said, the timing of my father's passing and meeting these two guys was divine intervention probably at some point. But I'm proud to be able to be their general contractor on their initiative in the Chicagoland markets as well as the Northwest Indiana markets potentially. So I just wanted to introduce myself and my background. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
So, in closing, I guess what I really wanted to share with you guys, when we first came out here a year ago and I saw that property at Cityscape and the condition that it's in, the alarm bells, my city manager alarm bells, what a huge liability for your village. Anything could happen to that property at any time. Fire, drugs, gangs, homicides, sexual assaults, and I thought, man, you guys are taking a huge risk on a daily basis by having that property just sit there in the condition that it's in. And so we are proposing to come in. We would love to come back at your next meeting, if indeed you would have us and would like to hear what we have to say. We would like to come back with a complete and comprehensive proposal to take that project down. We would take it all down and build new. The foundations are in pretty good shape. Chuck's done a great job of digging into and getting into the details of what has transpired in terms of the infrastructure, the water, sewer, and the electrical. We feel pretty good about that portion of the development, and it's very salvageable. And that's kind of self-serving, but it saves us a lot of money. And we would like to get in there and see if we can get you some brand new housing. 72 units. They're approximately 1,700 square feet each. 3 and 4 bedroom, attached garages. But we're going to take it one step further. Of course, this is veteran housing that we're proposing, and it is veteran home ownership. The buildings you saw earlier in this presentation were rentals. but we have an opportunity now to build for veterans and their families. And because of the HUD Family Self-Sufficiency Program, the home ownership program, we're able to transition veterans and their families from renters into owners with the help of HUD. And I don't want to go into great detail because it's very bureaucratic, as you can imagine, but it is a successful program that we can bring to University Park.
Yay.
Lastly, let me just say this. In terms of my own personal development, my own personal career, I am now working with President Rachel Lindsay and Chief Administrative Officer Paul Ballas at Chicago State University. I'm the Director of Workforce and Economic Development for the university. And first of all, we are not closing. We are financially stable. We've increased our student enrollment by 500 students, and we will double that next year, and we'll get back up to around 7,000 students. But one of the things we're doing now is we're aggressively moving to online education. When we build this complex for you, we will have a resource center in there that will enable people in this village to get a college degree, get a college education, get college certification online. And I know we're in Governor State's back door, but Governor State is a sister state university, and we work with them, not against them. So what we want to do is make education accessible to everyone, and specifically starting with our veterans, our TANF recipients, and ex-offenders. We are targeting ex-offenders because there's nothing worse than having a young man or woman on a home monitoring ankle bracelet with nowhere to go, thinking of something bad to do.
That's right.
Well, we got something good for them to do, and that's to get educated. Marketable job skills. So let me just say that I gave Bria, my daughter at Michigan State, praise, but I also have a son who graduated from Minnesota, got a master's from UIC, and went to the Utah Jazz. He now plays in his 13th year in pro sports in France. I have a daughter at Purdue University, and I have my oldest boy who graduated from Long Beach State. This is a family thing. We are now 17 college educations in our family. My great-grandfather was the great Negro home run lead hitter, Josh Gibson, from the Homestead Grade. So this is a legacy, and we would hope that you will allow us to bring our ideas, our team, our resources to University Park. And if this is something you'd be willing to do, there's a very specific ask. That property is on the Will County property sale list. It's scheduled to be sold in about
September 19th.
September 19th. You all have the authority to pull it off that list. And if you would give us the pleasure of coming back to you next month after you pull it off the list, we'll give you a full presentation on how we think we can build a veteran village in University Park.
Thank you. Question for Trustee Oscar Brown has a question.
October 19th.
September 19th. It's 100 parcels. Geneva and I were there Friday, and we were at the assessor's office. There's actually 100 parcels that's up. University Park is 100 pieces. So would you explain, Mr. Carter, when they say pulling it, because I want it very clear what you mean by that. What will we do when we say, we explain, because I don't want to explain, I want you to explain what that means by holding it off before September 19th.
It begins with a request to the Will County Land Bank, letting them know that the Municipality Board of Trustees is interested in removing particular parcels from that list for sale. Generally, I can't speak to the politics of Will County, I don't know them, but generally, if a municipality requests for a PIN number to be removed, it's removed. It's typically not even a debate or a negotiations, they will pull it at your request.
Okay.
But when you start talking about having other plans and having a vision for that property and the potential of eminent domain and moving it forward to new development to get it back on the tax rolls, typically your county will cooperate.
Okay.
And let me just say that our team will do all we can to assist you with that. If there's something you need from us, we'll do all we can to help you do that.
Well, we do have a relationship. I do sit on a board in Will County, and we do know our executive. Mr. Larry Walsh has been very, very helpful to us. So if necessary, I'm here. You guys we can go down there any day this week and have a conversation with them once the board agrees to make that change or make that move. We discuss it at the board, and I don't know if we need to do a quick workshop on it. And you sit there with us, and we can go to Will County this week for Monday the latest.
Yeah, we actually have some folks that work with us.
Just a second. Let him, sorry. He wants to speak. You finished? Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'll make this brief and short. Madam Mayor, trustees,
Yes.
friends and loved ones that are part of this great village out here. My name is Kevin Jones. I'm a part of this awesome team of developers that we want to come out here to do the type of things that's done. One of the most important things that came to mind when we first started, I was meeting with other suburban mayors. And the president of the Suburban Mayors Association, Asbury, I asked him, I said, besides you out here, tell me about somebody that's doing some things, want to do some things, and trying to be a better mayor in your administration of mayors. And the first name that he came up with was Mayor Vivian Covington. And yes, you all heard that. The mayor we had the pleasure, Ron and I and the commander, of meeting with the mayor, and she told us that one of the biggest things that she would love to see done out here is new economic development. We need it. You all have been crying for it, you've been hollering for it, you've been begging for it throughout other administrations, you've been waiting for it, and we told her, with all the land that's available out here, we have the ability and the wherewithal to come out here with great teams of men and women that can create jobs, good paying jobs, and redevelop this city at the level that you would appreciate. The type of townhomes that will be built by our team here are the type of townhomes that you would love to move your own mama and daddy into. That's the type of places we build. When you saw what Chuck did up in North Shore and other places he's doing, we build to make people feel good about their environment. They don't deserve to have substandard nothing. They deserve to have the best. And when we started talking about our veterans, then we know that they have put their life on the lines. They have been defending all of the world's issues as peacekeepers and nation builders, and then they come home and they can't get the type of love they deserve. Well, Commander Davis's and all of ours is to help build that love back for these veterans. The mayor has been extremely gracious in working with us, talking to us, giving us all of the accessible needs that we need to try to pursue what's going on. And that's why we're here tonight, because enough talking has been done. There's now time for action. And we want to give her and you all and your families and your children and loved ones that action that's needed so that we can start putting University Park at that platform of building at another level that you deserve. We want to do that. We want to go into other industrial building. There are a lot of different things we want to do. She's supporting everything we're looking forward to trying to do in spirit, and we're here to bring the resources to make it work. So with your love, with your support, with the mayor's help, we look forward to being out here with you all as fast as we can. We don't want to waste a whole lot of time, letting days go by and weeks go by, because the ground is going to change, and we would like to get into the ground before stuff gets crazy, but we understand politics. But as fast as we can get into the ground, the faster we can build a village, we can make this stuff a secure place for men and women and their children, and especially their children, because they deserve it, because their parents fought like the Dickens to make this happen, to be that part. So, Mayor, we want to say thank you. We appreciate you for all the support and love that you are giving us, and we want to make sure we reflect that back in the type of developments that these men back here are willing to put in front of you as a team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. last question. I know one of our residents have a question, but my thing is, I know I've talked to you repeatedly on this. Will the development here will be bringing jobs, or will they work with the construction? Once it's built, will that develop economic, as you explained to me, how that will help our village as far as residents and employment?
Okay, so the Department of Labor has something called the Workforce Innovation Opportunities Act, referred to as WIOA. And there is a list, there are 95 different ITAs, individual training accounts. Approximately 35 of them are in the trade skills. Chicago State University has a $5 million trade skill training facility that we're going to be launching in January. And people who want to be trained in the trades can go to Chicago State University at the expense of the Department of Labor. This is not out-of-pocket money. This is paid for by the federal government. And they can learn these trade skills, and as they become proficient and receive an Illinois Board of Higher Education certification in the trades, Mr. Norman and the folks and the subcontractors that work with him are more than happy to hire local. We understand the need for the indigenous population to be employed. The more they make, the more they spend, the more you tax, the more we all win. So between the property taxes and what we can do in terms of increasing marketable job skills and basic incomes with livable wages, that is our primary objective.
Thank you. We have a question, Ms.
Crockett.
Ms. Crockett.
Yes, I live right around the corner from Cityscape, and it's been a concern of mine for a long time. So I'm happy to hear that somebody's interested in it, but I'm also very concerned with who is going to be inhabiting what's going to be built right around the corner from me. Now, I heard you say a whole lot of things, and I remember seeing you saying people here before, a few years back, wanting to build an exchange. So, yeah,
No, ma'am.
they're not the same ones. I remember seeing you before.
GQ magazine.
Do you watch the Lakers?
GQ magazine.
No, we've never been. But that's okay. We go. Let's go back to your first question.
But anyway, yeah, I'm concerned. I mean, it'd be nice to have something built there, but I wanted to make sure that, you were talking about ex-offenders.
No, veterans and home ownership.
Yeah, let me address that. Let me address that, ma'am.
I mean, there were so many things being addressed at one time. I just want to know and understand who is going to be living around the corner from you.
All right, let me see if I can address that.
And it's not that necessarily an ex-offender is a horrible person, but I want to know.
All right, let me address that. As a veteran, we raise our right arm and swear to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So, let me give you a little scenario of when a veteran who has done 20 years of service or 25 years of service, they come out active duty and they are awarded a walk-away check. Once they walk away and they haven't secured a job, they might have a family, etc., it leads to a pattern of behavior because that soldier is taught to take care of his own. He's raised and instilled with a certain amount of discipline to take care of their own. What it has led to is the fact that 20% of the incarcerated veterans in this country are veterans. Part of the problem is that they were not grabbed and supported and got the help that they needed before they slipped off the deep end and went to do by whatever means is necessary to take care of them and their families. So I want to assure the trustees right now and the membership, we, Veteran Village and our group, will do everything in our power to make sure that the people that we put in University Park Cityscape are of a high integrity, who are looking to better themselves and who come to us to help them make that happen. That I can promise you from Commander Davis. And my experiences out here dealing with these veterans and their issues. Remember that CBI, Center for Veteran Issues. It comes with a whole support package. And we will do everything in our power to protect this village and those people.
Trustee,
Now, one of the things that I did mention is that University Park and Commander Davis' vision is going to be that high-end living situation for that veteran and his family, and who want to escape from the violence that's occurring in Chicago and want to come not far from Chicago. Chicago's still accessible. And then I also want to pull those veterans that are in those little towns in between here and St. Louis and bring them to University Park to get them into an ideal situation that is built with the finest specifications and that they can now do what they need to do to support their families and leave the rest to us. Thank you.
Trustee, I'm sorry, Trustee. Oh,
Let me just add. When I started speaking about ex-offenders, that was about education at Chicago State. That had nothing to do with city state. And then secondly, when we talk about HUD home ownership, the process to HUD ownership requires for you to be viably employed. You have to have a long-term job with a long-term income. And what happens is when you join the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, every month when you're paying, more and more money is being put into an escrow account so you can buy that home. So the likelihood, and I don't want to say it's impossible, because if it were impossible, we would be disappointed. But the likelihood of an ex-offender buying a city-state is very slim, very slim, very slim.
Trustee Brooks, would you like to say something?
Madam Mayor, I just want to say through personal experience, since when you mention it, especially veterans that you assist, I have counted as four veterans who came home, 2 in Vietnam, 1 doing the Reagan era Special Forces, and then 1 just came home, and actually 2 you assisted. Not going to talk too much because my wife here, she would tell me shut up, but you all do help a lot. He was here, they asked him to go to Iowa, or he asked to go to Iowa. They take care of him well out there, wherever he want to go, they take care of him. All of them were Marines, 2 of them were Marines, and the finest, I would say, they are an asset to their community to the T. I went to go out to visit in Iowa, 1 of them, and a family member, and upstanding in the community. So I don't have any worries, and when I listen to all the things that you mentioned, Commander, it's actually what you did for 4 of the members of my family. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you mentioned also it's going to be a gated community. It will be gated as well.
Madam
Okay,
Mayor?
yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the name of your program again?
Which part of it? There's a lot.
Veterans.
Oh, Better Village?
Yeah.
Yeah, Better Village LLC.
Veterans LLC.
Yeah, that would be the working title for the property owner.
Now, what's the name of the CBI program that you're gonna have for the veterans at the Veterans Village?
Center for Veteran Issues and the National Association of Black Veterans has 95 chapters nationwide. That's our headquarters in Milwaukee.
Look it up, please.
Yeah, I mean, that property list you saw on the screen, if you just go online, the Center for Veteran Issues, you'll find that same list.
Yes, sir.
Trustee, one quick comment. I'm old enough to have watched you when your hair was a little darker. Mine was a little more.
And the pants were a little short.
But you're still cheap. Yeah. Just a note here. We were working with a developer to develop about 40 acres right across from Governor State University, adjacent to the train station. He was looking at doing about 250 units, a number of which were going to be for veterans. Now, for a whole host of reasons, that project was put on hold, so to speak. But if you would be interested in collaborating or getting in touch with him to see, because he still, I think, would like to develop.
Absolutely. We would love to explore any opportunity.
Okay.
But you know that old saying, don't make dollars and don't make cents. Don't
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very, very much for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This time we have, anything, managers? I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Unfinished business. Third reading ordinance amending section 2010-01, 2010-02, chapter 2010 of the Title 4 and the Part 2 of Codified Ordinance of the Village of University Park, changing the regular committee of the whole meeting dates to the Board of Trustees and adding a consented agenda. Is there a motion? So moved by trustee Brooks, second. Second by trustee Wilson. Questions, concerns, comments?
Mayor.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, I have a number of questions and,
Yes, sir.
and some concerns, and I just want to preface it by just simply saying that it really focuses on the public's right to input into what we do here as a board, since they're the ones that are affected by what we do.
Yes, sir.
The first question I have was, my concern is that if we have a committee of the whole meeting where we don't, for the first Tuesday of the month, and then we don't vote on anything in that meeting because we're holding off, we're having at least a discussion, and then the second meeting of the month is where we have the consent agenda, and according to what's in here, you know, it's not debatable. And so, you know, if we debate something and make changes, the public then would not have a chance to provide additional input by seeing, you know, what the final product may look like, because it will be a consent agenda and we'll be voting on a number of issues. So, you know, that was a real concern of mine. If we also took and had, instead of, you know, for whatever reason, we're now doing a lot of things on 3 readings instead of, you know, taking 3 meetings to get input from the community between the discussions as we should be doing. My concern is that it would take 3 months then to get anything passed through. You know, it's not bad for non-critical things, but, you know, again, my concern is that the public have a chance to provide some input. Additionally, by having a consent agenda, what we're talking about then is if we're not voting on anything in the first meeting, bills payables wouldn't be voted on. And so it means that we would be approving bills payable then, you know, just once a month, essentially, which I think would be a little hard on our vendors. In addition to that, and I know there's a provision in there where, and in 2 parts to that question, if there's an item on the consent agenda that a trustee does not agree with, then it raises an objection, then it can be brought out of the consent agenda and then and to be considered later in the agenda is what it says. And then, so my question then is, does that require a vote or approval of the board for that to happen? It didn't indicate that.
or just simply any objection by any trustee would take that out of the consent agenda. So, you know, and again, if, you know, if there's an issue with a bill, as we have in some cases seen, when we do bills payable, then, you know, and we want to hold off and maybe get a little bit more background on something, you know, that would make that whole process pretty awkward. But again, you know, my main concern is that we wouldn't provide, by taking this approach, sufficient opportunity for the general public to provide input as to, you know, what we're going to be doing, you know. And so, you know, I guess I don't see a real big advantage of it. So the first question that I guess from a technical standpoint that I would like answered is, if a trustee objects to something on the consent agenda, will it be pulled out of the agenda for debate? Just simply on the
Yes.
official, okay.
Yes, to address that issue, if an item is on the, as proposed, if an item is on the consent agenda and the trustee objects once it's pulled from the consent agenda, it will no longer be part of the consent agenda. It would be placed as you have now, it would be its own separate action item, which could be debated, and an individual vote would be taken if so moved on that item separately, and there would be debate on that item.
Okay. So the way it is structured now, because there's a pro forma agenda that they have listed in what we have here, where you have new business, old business. The fact that it was part of the consent agenda, will it still comply with the Open Meetings Act?
Yes.
If it's on the consent agenda, the item
If
would
it's
still...
removed from that, right? Because then it gets moved to another part of the agenda.
Correct. Each item that would be on the consent agenda would be listed as the items are listed today on the agenda in front of you, but they would simply be listed under consent agenda. If it would be pulled, then it would just be moved down. It would still, the item would still be identified, it would be the same item, it would just be on a separate section of the agenda.
Okay. On page 4, the old D and the new paragraph E, it says, a special rule, the new rule would be number 5. The general public shall be encouraged to contribute information and comment relative to matters on the agenda during the debate. But that's not really possible for something that's on the consent agenda, right? Because Rule 3